Hi, I'm Nico Leese. I'm a second year. I went to Davidson my first year and East my second year. Ultimate at Tip is really great. It allows you to make a lot of friends, play sports. It's awesome. I recommend everybody play Ultimate no matter what your skill level is. Doesn't matter if you're good or not. I think you should just play Ultimate at Tip. It's a lot of fun. So I'm going to be showing you the different kinds of throws today. Let's get right to it. Okay, so Andrew Gavin just made a video, posted it on the YouTube about it was an introduction to Ultimate, and it kind of talked about how Ultimate was important to East and the campuses at Tip. It's awesome. So go and watch that video. Thank you, Andrew, for putting that up. I'm going to start with the backhand. So for backhand, you start off, you hold it, you grip it with your fingers under the rim here, and you take your thumb and you put it on these ridges. See, most Frisbees have these ridges here on the edge. You put it right on the ridges. You want to have a tight grip because that creates spin. So now when you go to throw the backhand, it comes across this way like a tennis backhand. When you go to throw it, you bring it back and you step so that you can get away from the defender in Ultimate. So you take a step with all of your throws, whether you're doing a forehand or a backhand. You take a step and then you bring it back and you try to keep it level, and then as you come through, you turn your body and you snap through with your wrist. It's very important that you snap through with your wrist because that's what creates the spin and keeps the disc aloft. So when you're throwing it, you make sure you have the right grip. Now you bring it back, you step, and then you turn your torso and snap as such. Alright, here's a forehand. It contrasts to the backhand in that you don't release it from this side, you release it from the opposite side. So it allows you to get on the other side of the defender and to throw it out this way. So the way you're going to grip this is you make a gun like you're about to shoot someone. You make a gun, you take your index finger and middle finger and you put it inside the rim here. Right? Now you take your thumb and you bring it behind and you grip it here, and you make sure that your ring finger and pinky finger are grabbing the rim here, and you have to have it tight because, again, just like the backhand, it creates more spin when you have the Frisbee tight in your hands. So when you come back, you're going to step just as you do in all of the throws, and like the backhand, you step this way into the throw, and then you bring it back, and it's just a flick of your wrist. That's why the forehand is also called the flick, because it's really important that you flick your wrist. It's not so much body like the snap of the backhand, it's more of a wrist flick. And you can throw a forehand very far just by flicking your wrist. So a lot of people have trouble with the forehand because they try to put arm into it and it flails around and they forget about their wrist and they don't snap, so they don't get any spin and it just flutters to the ground. This makes people very disappointed with the forehand because they don't realize that they have to flick their wrist so much. So just keep a tight grip, flick your wrist, and then as you try to get more distance, you have to remember to flick your wrist at the same time as you move your arm. So again, grip it like a gun. Put your put your index finger and middle finger there, and then grip with your thumb here. And then come over, you step, and then you flick this. The hammer. The hammer is used in many different situations in Ultimate. A lot of times it's when the mark is putting a good mark on you and you can't get off a backhand or a forehand. Also, it's used to get it up and to create kind of a jump ball if you have a receiver that's taller and can jump higher than the defender. So when you're throwing the hammer, you throw it just like the forehand grip. Remember, I told you how to throw a forehand. Keep the exact same grip. Now, when you're throwing this, you throw it, you hold it this way, and it's an upside down throw. The hammer does not fly like you're used to seeing it. It actually flies upside down like this. And when it curves, it doesn't curve normally, it curves the opposite direction because it likes the helix. So if it looks like it's going to curve in towards you this way, it will actually tip back over and start curving this way. So when you're throwing the hammer, you stand this way and you step with the foot that is the opposite of your throwing hand. So for me, I throw with my right hand, and so I'll step with my left foot. You step straight towards your target, and you get up high because you have to get over the defender, and you bring it back like this. It's like you're throwing a football kind of. When you're bringing it back, you have your elbow at almost a 90-degree angle, and you go over the top of your head, and you snap your wrist down. And when you're throwing this, you want to make sure that you're getting a lot of spin, because this will keep the disc like level. So if you're going to throw a long hammer, you have to throw it almost vertical so that it will turn back over and stay flat at the end of the flight. If you're going to throw a soft short hammer, then you have to bring it over your head like this so that you're almost releasing it horizontal, because it won't have as much of an opportunity to turn over. So when you're throwing the hammer, remember, step with your opposite foot and snap down with your wrist as you come over your head. You hold it like a backhand and you put your thumb on the rim. This creates spin. So what you're doing is you're literally pushing the disc. It's like you're punching someone. You punch the disc straight forward, but instead of just like pushing it, you add one more little element. It's you bring your wrist back in the opposite direction as you would bring it for a backhand. So like when you do a backhand, you're going to curl it this way so that you can flick your wrist. When you set up a push pass, you have to have your wrist this way, because as you push, you're going to flick your wrist. You're going to flick it the opposite direction as you do for a backhand so that you can create spin. Okay, this is the thumber. The thumber is kind of a unique throw. It comes out on the forehand side, but it kind of comes out higher like this, and it doesn't really require a big arm movement. It's just a snap of your wrist up by your head. So when you throw this, you take your thumb and you put it inside the rim here, and then you grip the Frisbee on the outside like so. So you have your thumb in there and your hands on the outside. Now, when you go to throw, it's going to come out your forehand side. So you bring it back and you kind of snap your forearm, but you don't make a big arm movement, because that'll bring the disc down and it'll fly into the ground. So you snap your wrist and it'll come right out of your thumb. This is a good throw for a couple of reasons. It comes out with a lot of spin. So like if you're on the beach throwing around with your friends and you want to get a lot of spin into a throw, you can throw a thumber, because that'll keep it from going up and down like it does in the wind. Here's a forehand. This is the hammer throw. There's always a cost to doing things. The cost to doing this video. Can you see that? Those are mosquitoes. I killed all of those with one slap.